6 months ago, having never faceted a stone in my life, I purchased a sterling faceter, and this is my review of how I've got on with it and some of the stones I've cut. Well, okay, welcome back everybody, and I'm going to do, I guess I'd call this a 6-month review of the machine that I've been using, the sterling faceter from Sri Lanka. And what I'll first of all do is just go through the various parts on the machine. This might be a bit jiggly because I'm using my iPhone to film it, but it's just easier. So let's start with what we have just here. That turns the fan on, and the motor is controlled from this here. So that noise is just the fan, which keeps everything cool. And then that's the motor coming on, which turns that spindle. The motor is back here with a load of digital controls, and I'm assuming that just controls the speed of the machine and the fan and everything else. And there's the motor itself, which I believe is a German motor. It's, over the last 6 months, not missed a beat. It's extremely reliable. It's of aluminium construction and very, very sturdy. The machine is used in lots of places in the East, Sri Lanka, Thailand. If you look at any of their YouTube videos, you'll see this machine being used all over the world. Water reservoir is just here, which just sits there handily. You top it up obviously, and a simple little tap here which has worked fine. This is the upright post, and to make adjustments all you do is turn this down, and as you can see the table is gradually going down. You rest your handpiece on there and you gradually reduce this until your stone touches the disc. The machine comes with various discs. I've got them all hidden in here. Typical disc, diamond coated. You need various discs. You don't need as many as I've got because I've been playing around with various grades there. Now, the next part of the machine, this is the base, which goes on like so, and then you grab a disc, put it on, spacer and nut. Now you can tell how many revolutions you're doing because there's a handy digital readout there, and it can go very, very slowly, 167 revolutions. Right up to 2,500. It's very stable, no vibration whatsoever. And off. When you turn it off, the fan still carries on just cooling the motor off. So you can see where the water collects as it drips down. And there's a little drain hole there in the corner, and I've plumbed that in to go straight out the wall. Saves me having to collect water in the bucket or anything like that. It's very, very important to keep the machine clean after every time you use it. I always wash it down with soap and water because obviously there's fine particles in there, and it's just nice to have a clean machine when you're using it. As far as servicing the machine is concerned, literally just cleaning it will do. and I also apply grease onto the post here just to make things move up and down easily. Right, so that's the machine itself. We'll now go on to the other part of the handpiece. So the handpiece, as you can see, has a protractor angle along the top. Now with this machine, if you look at a typical plan like this here, you can see that some of the settings are 47.17. Well, you can get the 47.1, but the 7 on the end and things like that, you can't get that sort of accuracy. But there are ways around it with practice, and you can get some absolutely brilliant gems off this machine, even though the settings aren't as microscopically accurate as you would have on, say, an American or Australian machine, which you can literally dial in 47.17. So that's the first setting, protractor angle. Sorry, forgive the fingers. And you just adjust it like so, and then tighten it up. Looking to the front, you can see that you've got your index wheel, and you literally hold that in and then put your index dial in and let it go, and it holds it there, and that gives you the sort of angle, well, two lots of angles, protractor and facet angle. And the other thing that you have here, and I would recommend that you get a machine with a cheater on it, is this little fine adjustment here, which as you screw it in and screw it out, gradually microscopically adjusts the wheel round and round. As far as servicing this is concerned, straightforward. Perhaps once a month I'll take the chuck out and put some grease on the end. After I've used it for a couple of weeks, I'll spray it down with WD-40 and rub it clean, but it really is built to last. Now, one of the first things you have to do when you get this set up here is to balance the handpiece, and to do that, if you go to Justin K. Prim's YouTube site, he shows you how to balance the handpiece. It's not difficult, but it's essential to be done so that all your facets are straight and square. So that's the equipment. It's very reliable. I've not had a problem with it at all. I've had frustrations, but that's in me learning how to facet, but I'll talk you through those later. Right, let's go to show you how the machine actually works with an example. A couple of useful things to know when you're setting this up. When this wheel turns round and there's water dripping on it, whatever you do, and I built this to protect myself from splashback, very straightforward. When this is on a low setting, water would come flying out of here, and this just stops the majority of it. So that's something you might want to just knock up yourself, and this is what normally comes with the machine, which is absolutely fine stopping splashback when the angles are high, like so. But as you lower the table, you have to remove this to enable the handpiece to go down. That's when you get more splashback, and where you use that sort of cutout thing that I just made there. Now to that end, when you position your machine, and if I stand back, you can see the sort of thing I knocked up here. It would be very useful to put it on top of tiles, purely because they're waterproof and you can just wipe it down, because however much you put these little barriers in place to stop splashback, you are going to get it. And especially when you're using oil in the polishing stage, if I pan round, you can see what flies out. So build an area where you can have it waterproof and easily wiped down. The second hint is lighting. When you're working on small jewels, it's really useful, gems, sorry, to have lots of lighting. So I've got a strip light there, and I've got another down light here which I can adjust down, and this very useful one which enables me to look at the stone closely, and it has a light all the way around it. This is very useful so you don't use the eyepiece all the time. Okay, to me that's a good setup. That's what sort of thing I do, and for when I do films I've got my little camera there, a little station there with dopping stuff, wax and heat. That works. So with the kit you get several of these dops. This is the flat dop, and you get round ones and ones with grooves cut out of them. This enables you to use various shapes of stone, but just to show an example of how this works, we're just going to dop up just a flat stone, a little cheap piece. Okay, so we get our man-made opalite, and just to dop it up, what I'm first of all going to do is preform a flat surface. So to preform, you just need water, topped up like so. And again, this isn't showing you how to facet, this is just showing you the machine. Turn it on, bit of water, and let's just create a flat surface. And you'll do this with everything you facet. So to show you how this works, it's just a very simple plan. A kite shape, I think, small edged kite. So we can see the center point is roughly there. So what I'm going to do is just put a little dab of super glue on here. I'm not going for accuracy because this is just to show you how it works. And we'll just let that set off for a bit. That'll do. And I'll come back to you when it's set off. We'll put some wax around it as well. And then I'll show you how the system actually works, using this to go up and down and using the handpiece. So hopefully you can see that. This isn't the normal position I'd be doing this in. What I'm doing is just warming the stone and the wax and the dop, and we're just going to firm up the setting so I can show you how it all works. This part of the process, although I'm doing it quickly because I'm not actually going to fully facet this stone, is very important, because you don't want this to fly off halfway through, because if you do, all your accuracies will go out the window, and good cutting is about accuracy. As anybody who facets will know, your fingers get used to this eventually. But you'll still get burnt. Ouch. So we'll let that cool off. And then I'll show you the controls. So any plan gives you some instructions, and the first instruction on this plan is that the pointy bit should be directly down at index 48. So I've got there index 48, and I'm just eyeballing the stone for the pointy bit to be directly down. So once I've done that, I just tighten up the chuck, pinch tight, and we're ready to go. And the first thing to do with this plan, and with any stone, is to preform. Now you can preform by hand for a rough shape, which is what I did with the top, or you can actually use the accuracy of the machine to preform. So I think that's what I'll do. And if I look at the plan, it will give me some instructions here. Girdle 96. So let's just set it up. I go to 96 on the index wheel. I take this part out because I'm going flat down, and I insert my homemade thing in to stop water splashing back. On. And what you do is you lower this until it starts touching, and you then carry on until you get the right shape. So first of all I need the top shape, and literally water on, and it's as simple as that. You just carry on lowering this until you're happy with the shape you've got. And what's that is doing is lowering the top, so I've got the very top facet. The way to do this is, you'll know when you've got to the set point because the tone disappears. See, disappeared. And as I add this down more, it will get slightly noisier. And I'll know when I've reached that point just by listening. And every facet is done exactly this way. You dial it in on the index wheel, you whopper it up, and then you gradually lower it down, and you keep eyeballing it until you see the right shape, and then you carry on. I'll come back to you when I'm doing the two side facets, just to show you how to get those accurately. Okay, noise alert, because I changed to a 100 disc. This opal light's a lot harder than I thought. So I've done the top one, and I'm now faceting the two sides, and when I know when they've reached their accuracy point, because the tone will change. So do you hear that? That's the point I'm going to facet to. So I've done the top, and I've done that one there. So if I now change to the other side, which is 80. And lay this down and facet it to this point, I know the other side will be accurate. So you don't want to hear all that. I'll come back to you when it's... So without looking now and relying upon the accuracy of the machine, change it over to the other facet, which is on 16. Back to the other one, which was on 80. That's just relying upon the weight of my finger. Does it look accurate? Judge for yourself. So that's how you set in an accurate facet, by listening and dialing in, and that's how this machine works. So what we'll do now is do the two bottom ones. You don't need to see that because it's following exactly the same process as I've done here. Loading the top one, loading the two sides by using the height of the table, and I know when they're equal because as I get to that point I just tap it and it just lightly touches the stone, so we're microscopically accurate there. Right, so there we go. It's a quick example of how the Sterling Faceter works. A review, if you like. And as you can see there, oh, peace and quiet. It's laid in those facets very nicely and polished them. Perhaps not the best stone to show you on because it's man-made opalite, but I think once we do the crown it will look lovely. I hope you've enjoyed it. Leave comments if you like. Any questions, please leave them and I will answer them. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this 6-month review and the samples of the stones that I've cut on the machine on the sterling faceter from Sri Lanka. Please like and subscribe and pass it on if you know that somebody might be interested, and I'll carry on and post some more videos. Thank you.